Hello, good morning, everybody out there, and welcome to Friday's edition of the newspaper review here on Newsbuster TV. My name is Jennifer Mosu, and of course, I'll be sharing great stories making the waves in the country and around the world with you today. So I'll start off with our very first newspaper, which is The Nation. Above the masthead, we see Shaibu's office at Government House relocated. I'm sorry, Deputy Governor begs boss. That's coming from, some mild drama going on in Edo State between the governor, Governor Obaseki, and his deputy, Lucky Philip Shaibu. Sorry, Philip. So you can read more on that on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. And in Ondo State on page 25, 22 lawmakers move to impeach Ondo deputy governor. What's with deputy governors and their principals? Okay, still on page 25, bank raises 13 billion naira for subsidy paying palliatives. That's on page 7. And still on page 25, in Ogun State, police arrest Ogun lawmaker and 6 others at Shagamu. You can get that story on page 25. And below the masthead, former governors, firms, others lose choice land in Abuja. Obi, Agabi, Darie, Imoke, Udoma, banks, construction firms, others on the list. It's quite a heavy list. You can trust the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, has been swinging wildly into action, and he says the reason for those lands, maybe the owners forfeiting them, is because they've not been able to develop them. But you can get more of that on page 4. And above the major story, in both floors, Edoga to retain seats in Enugu as governor. That's on page 6, so that issue is over. And the major story, Tinubu was Nigerians in US to invest back home, overcome setbacks, adopt new mindset, president advises. And this was during a meeting organized by the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, on the sidelines of the ongoing 78th United Nations General Assembly, which has a picture of the president and the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres yesterday. All right, India suspends visa to Canadians. That story is on page 5. There's been a bit of a spy drama between Canada and India, so you might want to read up more on that story. On page 5 also, Bazoum asks ECOWAS court to free him. All right, he's been under house arrest since the military swung into power in Niger on July 26th. And Poland opposes Germany on UN Security Council seat. That's on page 5. Soludo ends fees in Anambra schools. Senate seeks justice for Mohbad. All these are the frontliners from the Nation. When you browse through that paper, you can get all the information there and more. All right, moving on. I've got the Punch newspaper above the masthead. Delay Atiku's request. Tinubu tells U.S. court over his academic records, and his legal team seeks a review of that ruling, and ex-VPAs alleging a cover-up. Interesting read on page 22. On page 25, Cardozo, the new CBN governor, is pictured there, and he says currency in circulation rises to 2.7 trillion naira. That's a CBN report. So you might just want to know where it's going and how it's circulating. That read is on page 25. And the big story from the Punch this morning, federal government may pay 1.68 trillion naira fuel subsidy. Marketers forecast 900 naira per litre. Petrol price to gain as naira nears 1,000 naira. Crude oil hits $95, that's per barrel. And Ipman is issuing this warning Operators commend the government for subsidy proposal, and CSOs oppose fresh subsidy. It's quite interesting. I think I mentioned it last week where I said with the crude prices hitting the roof, this time it's now $95, and our currency, the foreign exchange rate is really dropping. So I mentioned that we could, start buying petrol between 750 naira, 800 naira. But this, where are we? Where do we go? You can read that story on page 2. And the pictures there showing a memorial and peaceful protest for the late singer Mohbad. And the story there say pathologists conclude autopsy on Mohbad's corpse as police await result. Those stories are spread out on pages 4 and 5. And adding to that, there was another drama that ensued during the candlelight procession for the late singer last night. There was a memorial at a park. There was a walk for the procession. But those strayers who stayed longer hours after that procession alleged that the police shot tear gas at them. There were several videos on X, that's the app known as Twitter, or used to be known as Twitter, where people were falling and running all over the place in that milieu. But you can read more of these on pages 4 and 5. I remain loyal, forgive me. Shaibu begs Obaseki. This story is on page 12 from The Punch. And on cult clashes, the state governor tells security heads to relocate to Shagamu. The stories are also on pages 4 and 5. And consumers allege sabotage as GERD collapses worsen outrage. The national grid collapsed about last week. It's been very epileptic power supply all over the country. Some places still haven't received power as a result of the collapse of that national grid. So the feeds of electricity to other distribution companies is worsening, and consumers are alleging sabotage over this matter. You can read more about it on page 17. And I've got the Nigerian Tribune here. Above the masthead, Tinubu's investors in USA invest in Nigeria without fear, he says. Okay, given with the economic terrain, I think people can still have fears. All right, that's on page 23. And the big story, questions persist over petrol subsidy. Federal government running quasi-deregulation, that's coming from Ipman. Crude oil price, Forex further impacts diesel price. You can check out those reads on page 6. And on page 4, trial of HIV vaccine to start in South Africa and the United States. I thought about this HIV, issue just yesterday, and it was ringing through my head that there have not been many prevalent cases of HIV/AIDS. Sometime in the 90s, late 80s, it was like a death sentence for anybody who was diagnosed with it. But now people are managing it with drugs. They live better, they live longer. And this might just be another huge step in the field of science if that vaccine actually gets to be, the major thing that will be needed to stamp out HIV/AIDS. Good one there. And on page 3, Tinubu files emergency appeal against U.S. court order on release of academic records. Coronation rites begin on Monday for new Assange. That's on page 3. TBN postpones September NPC meeting indefinitely. That's on page 7. On the Shagamu court clash, Ogun lawmaker 6 orders in DSS net. We shouldn't have people who are meant to be our representatives, people who are meant to be, societal figures, moral standard bearers, getting enmeshed in such issues. So for anybody who is caught, doing this, the embarrassment, the person will face it, because we are trying to rid our society of vices like this and not promote them, especially through a lawmaker. All right, you can read that on page 27. And there's a picture there in the middle of the front page. It shows from left the chairman of China's Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, CCECC, Mr. Jason Zhang, the Vice President Kashim Shettima, and Deputy Chief of Staff to the President's Office of the Vice President, Senator Ibrahim Hadejia, during a courtesy visit to the Vice President at the Presidential Villa yesterday. And on page 27, Mohbad's body exhumed, autopsy done, nurse in police custody. And still on page 4, from Edo State, Edo deputy begs Obaseki for forgiveness and says he's missing his governor. And on page 12, tribunal upholds Mba's victory as Enugu governor, and Muftuang knows fate today. All the election petitions are going on at their various tribunals across several states, and we're seeing results. Some still leave people in doubt, but it's the tribunal, I guess. So we have to take whatever they rule on in good faith. All right, and we'll go through entertainment stories. We'll check out the world of showbiz from The Nation on page 31. It's got all the entertainment stories you might just want to browse through. Mohbad's death continues to spark controversies as investigation and tribute kick off. And of course, I think I've repeated that the body of the singer was exhumed for autopsy, and the Senate has even gotten involved in this and says justice will be served. Fans held a concert and candlelight procession in his memory, and the nurse who was responsible for giving him an injection or treated him has also been arrested. And Nollywood stars back screen perfect as search for next superstar kicks off. There's a picture of a couple of Nollywood stars, and it's for one of these new reality shows. It's a reality and talent hunt show called Screen Perfect. All right, it's set to bring new Nollywood stars. All right, let me take another story. Benga Denka's Life Matters train moves to Abeokuta for the independence celebrations, and the 2023 edition will hold on Sunday, the 1st of October at the scheduled venue. So it's a train that's been making waves across southwest states, and they're getting massive support from different companies. We also see an ex-YBNL singer and signee, Temi Ovwasa. She hits hard at her critics, and basically she says, don't listen to my music if you don't want to be unfortunate and you're a typical Nigerian that is wicked. That is so funny. Entertainment bits from The Nation's back page, and a bit of sports. Yeah, it's always good to get into the weekend with that sports flow. So I'm checking out sports stories from the Nigerian Tribune. On page 30, we see Onana takes blame for Bayern Munich's loss. Messi will miss another game for Inter Miami. You might just want to know more why that is going on. And Federal match one outfit to fetch $35,000 at an auction. Just an outfit Roger Federer used on one of his games. So it's quite prestigious and expensive. Romania FA sanctioned over Serbia chance in Kosovo match. So those are against football federation rules in Romania. And the report says Chelsea nears a $500 million investment deal. I hope it's not just about deals, but hey, that club not doing too good. All right, NYG 2023, discovery of new talents more important than winning. That's coming from the Minister of Sports at the National Youth Games set to take place and start off in Asaba tomorrow. Team Edo off to Asaba with 356 contingents. Wow, so many people in one contingent from Edo State at the National Youth Games. Bet Correct unveils groundbreaking AI-powered online betting platform. All you bettors, you might want to check that out. African Basketball Youth Camp, Oyedeji named among FIBA instructors. And on the back page, still more sports. Bellingham born to play at Real Madrid. That's coming from Nacho. And Ronaldo's return to Man United is a bad omen. That's coming from Ole Solskjaer. And last one here, it was a mistake to appoint Mourinho Conte, Spurs chairman. Well, so many blames and actually one thumbs up at the back page, but I think you might want to go through all these interesting stories to make your weekend lit with all the right information. But don't forget, you can still get more stories, news feeds on the go, wherever you are. Just log on to our website at www.newsbusterng.com. And you can also check us out on our social media pages on X and on Instagram. You can see all that is dropping like it's hot. So far as it's news, we do it right. And on our YouTube channel where you're watching me, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and make sure you tell your friends and everybody you know, because I know you're enjoying what we do here. So tell them to subscribe, share, and like on our page on YouTube at NewsbusterNG. All right, it's a rainy Friday here in the city of Lagos, but hey, the rain doesn't stop us from doing what we do. So just stick with us and we'll give you the very best of our content. Do enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you all next week. Bye now.